this is Brian from ScreenFiles.com with review. The movie I'm reviewing today is Blair Witch, the reboot slash sequel to 1999's The Blair Witch Project. It feels like more of a movie, which is promising in the sense that I actually prefer the sequel to The Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows, significantly more. Reason being, it was done in a traditional fashion, and it wasn't just a lot of jump cuts and so on, and very quickly edited scenes. It was just more traditional, and I tend to like more traditional movies. But this movie, as I said, it's faithful to the original in terms of how it was put together, but it feels more cohesive as well. So it has some traits of the sequel, Book of Shadows, as well as the original Blair Witch Project. And that's a good thing. In fact, I would argue that it could have used even more of those traits from the Book of Shadows. Just calm down the editing. In fact, there were scenes it was used as a transitional device. Lots of rapid jump cuts and so on. And this is unusual for me, but I felt slightly nauseated watching it. It wasn't, and I admit to being tired at the time. That may have had something to do with it. But it was, for a while, until I adjusted to it, it was a little hard to watch it. Just lots of jumping around, the camera that is, and nothing was ever still for too long. In some respects, that works to the movie's benefit, in that it got to the chase really quickly. It initially begins with Heather's brother, I believe, and he's going to go look for his sister. Heather was one of the people who vanished in the first movie. So her brother, in the second, is going to search for her. That's the impetus for the action. That's a pretty neat idea, but like these movies tend to work in such a way that you don't really know the people as characters. They're outlines more than anything else. But it works well under circumstances. What also surprised me about Blair Witch was how funny, genuinely funny this movie is. And it's not stupid funny, like, I don't know, an Adam Sandler movie or something of that nature. It's more funny in the sense of people reacting under pressure to difficult situations, doing really odd things. And that was refreshing to see, because it was very naturalistic in that way. I mean, if someone were caught in a forest that never seemed to end, and they never could seem to find a way around it, you'd get frustrated, and you'd probably do some things that, for an outsider to see, would look pretty silly. And that happens quite a few times. And that's great. I like that. The tone is still serious, but there's humor, and it helps relieve the tension as well. So that worked really well for me. I enjoyed that. What I also liked about Blair Witch was that the first movie really gave you no hints of what was going on. It was so choppily edited and so quickly cut that oftentimes you had no idea what was happening. You just see people running around, close-ups, runny noses and stuff, so you didn't really know what was going on. This movie is shot in such a way that you can get at least glimpses of weirdness in the background sometimes, which is appreciated. Another point worth mentioning is that the budget for this movie is significantly higher than the first Blair Witch Project. This movie cost somewhere in the range of $5 million to produce, which is chump change, frankly. I mean, at that cost, it's hard for the movie not to be successful. This movie, despite being filmed primarily with handheld cameras, looks better than the first movie. It's pretty interesting in that way. The thing is, it's not necessarily a movie for everyone, though. If you don't like found footage movies, you probably wouldn't enjoy this one all that much either. It sticks very faithfully to that formula. But if you're looking for a few thrills, some good laughs, and a pretty interesting storyline, you might want to spend some time with the Blair Witch.